What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Ride and Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. Let's roll the intro, start talking about what we're supposed to be talking about.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a
All right, so you saw the thumbnail, you saw me holding this up. This is the original My Machinist kickstand block, which was not designed for the kickstand that we have on the Lowrider S at all. However, at the time that I bought this, which was pretty darn close to a year ago now, the only kickstand blocks that I ever found that were being made were for the other style kickstand, the one that are not on the Lowrider S, like the Dyna style kickstand, even like the Sportster style, bagger style, stuff like that. So out of all of them, I picked the My Machinist because I thought it was incredibly good value, and I really like this stuff. I have this stuff on various other spots on the bike as well that you guys have seen my past videos and stuff on. So I went ahead and put that block on. This was the old block. Like I said, a really good design, super cool with the machining marks and stuff that were purposely obviously left on. I just love the design and I love the way it looked. Obviously you can see I got a fair amount of use out of this. That's the bottom where it scrapes every time you put the bike down and everything like that. So like I said, nothing was wrong with this necessarily, minus the fact that it wasn't designed for this bike at all, which I knew that full well when putting this on. And for those of you curious, yes, there is a install video on this block. So full disclosure, like I always do with you guys, My Machinist reached out to me. He's like, hey, I saw you do the video on this one, but have you seen I have the new version for our bike? And I was like, yeah, I have seen it. I've just put off buying other stuff, whatever. So he was awesome enough, because I've spent a lot of money with him, but he was awesome enough to go ahead and send me out a new one to make a video to show you guys. So this is the new one. Let me scoot up close here. Again, this is the old style. Let me hold it in a way that you could see better. And these are not the bolts that came with it. Again, because it was designed for a different kickstand, that kickstand had a thinner profile bottom piece, and the bolts that came with this to use for that kickstand were not good with the Lowrider S kickstand, so those are the bolts that I bought. These are not the bolts that were supplied. Now this one does come with bolts and washers, which we'll get into. This one, as you can see, has a very different footprint, specific to the Lowrider S and the Fat Bob and the Lowrider ST and stuff like that, specific to those Jiffy stands, kickstands, whichever you want to call them. Different bolt placement instead of just two kind of in the middle, because obviously designed for a completely different kickstand. And then obviously the height difference is a little different as well, which is perfect for me because this one, although it was higher than stock, which I needed, it was almost a little bit too high for my setup, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. I almost had to, because you're familiar with how the Jiffy stand works, it locks into place, so I almost had to tilt the bike more on the other side just to get it to kick out all the way, and then kind of flop it over and push it to make sure that that slid. So this is awesome. It's got a very nice rounded edge for that kind of positive engagement on it, and I'm super excited to put this on the bike. So again, before we start this, I want to say a huge thank you again to My Machinist. If you haven't checked out any of his stuff, go ahead and check him out. I've been buying his stuff since he was really small and wasn't on, at least to my knowledge, wasn't on any of the big name websites and stuff like that. Now he has a bunch of stuff on those websites and everything, so I could not be happier for him, just putting out the stuff, because like I said, it's a great product. I've been buying it for a few years now, different things, but anyway, here you go. So this is the new one. I went ahead and pre-drilled the holes. Now, don't make fun of me, don't think this looks crappy or whatever. I know it looks crappy because I have the previous holes that, again, this was not designed for that kickstand. I have the previous holes left over from that one in this, so now I'm gonna have multiple holes. I actually, about 10 minutes ago, just bought a brand new stock Lowrider S kickstand. So when that comes in, I will be re-drilling the holes and using this on that. That way it's a 100% clean, kind of start to finish kickstand, which will be perfect. That'll be brand new. I can actually drill this in sitting on a bench before I even install it on the bike, and it'll be a lot easier to put this on. It'll have a much cleaner finish, and I will show you guys pictures of that on Instagram, potentially even do a whole new video, just real quick, kind of just showing you guys what it looks like on a, like a new setup versus a kickstand that's had holes drilled in it before. But I went ahead and drilled the holes already. It does come with I don't know if they're grade 8 or not, but they're obviously at least stainless steel. You don't really need grade 8 for this kind of thing. But it does come with 2 sets of bolts, and hopefully it focuses, 2 sets of bolts and washers. Thank you. If you said bless you. If you didn't, rude. But it does come with 2 sets of bolts and washers. I already pre-drilled the holes. Like I said, again, when we go down there, don't judge me. Don't judge my kickstand. You guys saw the other video, or you know, maybe should have, or hopefully, whatever. That's why it looks the way it does. But let's go ahead and bolt this sucker up, and then we'll drop the bike down. Something that is important to note, I would typically say to use red Loctite on something like this. It's going to vibrate a lot when it's up there. You're going to wind up scraping it sometimes, potentially. There's just a bunch of different variables that you really don't want this obviously coming off. So I would say typically red Loctite. I'm not going to put any Loctite again because, like I said, I have a new kickstand ordered so I can start fresh. I did also go ahead and remove this rubber stopper, which just kind of pressure fits into this hole right there, just so I can get the drill bit in and the Allen wrench and stuff in there as well. As you can see, the past holes were the ones that were more inside. This is the new one, and unfortunately it does not line up perfect with the footprint of the kickstand, partially also because I had to trim and shave some of it off to line up with the old kickstand block that, again, was not made for this bike. So again, it will look better when you actually have a new kickstand you're putting it on instead of this style, but I think it's going to get the job done for today. So we're going to go ahead and start to bolt it up. Also important to note, if you do not have a lift, you are going to need some either jack, scissor jack, a friend or something. You're going to need someone to prop the bike up because you obviously can't have any pressure on the kickstand because you need to lift it up not only to drill, but also then to mount this, this new block as well. So you are going to need something like that. If you have a buddy that doesn't mind giving you his time, you can have the buddy hold it up, I guess, but you're going to make sure, or going to have to, or should make sure that you are relatively quick about doing it. And I think I did not line up my bolts and my holes that good, potentially. I don't think this one is engaging, so let's maybe back this one out a tad and try to get this one in better. We good. And like I said, again, use Loctite on this. You need Loctite on it. I know my new kickstand is going to come within the week, so I'm not using anything right now because unfortunately I don't plan on riding this bike anytime in the next week with my current setup and stuff. And honestly, I don't know long term if I would even dare test this setup out because of the close proximity of the holes and all the different issues I have going on with that. But get yourself a good set of drill bits, use oil, just kind of tips that are general tips, not necessarily, you know, for motorcycles, but if you've ever drilled metal before, you know that. Get yourself some good drill bits that can handle it. Keep your drill bit and your metal that you're drilling lubricated with some sort of penetrating oil, or as a default, I use WD-40, but you don't have to, obviously. You could and probably should use a specific oil made for drilling and stuff. They're going to work a lot better for you. I know Spyder's got a really good oil that's been out for a little bit now. It's like a blue. I know Lowe's carries it. I want to get my hands on that oil. Potentially I will before I do my new kickstand when it comes in, but that's got really crazy good ratings. But anyway, there you have it. I mean, looks awesome. Fits the footprint, like I said. It doesn't, you can see on this side, if you look, it's kind of like got a weird angle. That's not stock. I shaved that down and then spray painted it, if you saw my old video, to make the old style fit. So let's go ahead and put the bike down and see how much it takes up and how easy it is to engage. All right, so it's now, I'll show you guys with it off of the kickstand. Obviously it comes all the way back up, no issues there. Springs back up. Worst case scenario, if your spring is worn out, you can always buy a new spring. But comes back up, getting it down. Bike is as close to, as I could see, as upright as possible. To tilt it just a tad to clear that part. Once it's there, it slides really effortlessly. It does allow the bike to tip a tiny bit more over than that old one, which I like a lot better because it does allow the bike to sit, you know, less upright and more slanted while still, I mean, as you can see, this is very solid, no issues at all. And that's even with the extra holes that yours hopefully will not have that mine has. But again, awesome product, awesome guy. I have, like I said, other stuff of his here as well. And I always recommend him to people as well. But thank you again to My Machinist for allowing me to do this video. Hopefully you guys go check him out and support his products. He has a bunch of stuff. He does stuff as crazy as whole swing arm kits for like touring platforms and stuff, and then down to as simple, even though I know it's not that simple, but compared to a whole swing arm, this kickstand block is a pretty simple setup. All right, so that's the install. Super, super easy. I will keep you guys updated as soon as I get a new kickstand just to show you guys how it looks. But now I'll put up a few pictures and stuff, still images at least, so you can see how this one looks with my crappy kickstand, crappy jiffy stand, whatever you want to call it. But I am very, very happy with it, with the fit and finish. Obviously, fit and finish I had no concerns about or anything. I didn't know how high it was going to be compared to the other one, but this is awesome. It is, in my opinion, the perfect height for what people typically do to this Lowrider S. For those of you unfamiliar with my Lowrider S specifically, I have the RWD RS1 shock in the back, and then I not only have the Harry Customs shims to allow me to drop the forks down, but I also have a little bit of a stouter fork internal setup with the Legends setup in there. So my bike is raised about an inch, inch and a half, somewhere around there overall. This is the perfect height. Really, if you go any higher than what my bike has right now, you're looking into a lot more fork stuff, which is very possible and people do. It's just not very typical. But you're still going to be able to use this kickstand block. The rear is going to require some more work for those of you wanting to go even higher in the rear. So this kickstand block is an awesome height. It's perfect for this. It's super dialed in. And again, this is applicable to those of you with the Fat Bob and then the Lowrider ST or the new Lowrider S's. I believe, to my knowledge, those are the only 3 bikes that have this specific kickstand right now. But either way, if I'm wrong, I know somebody will let me know in the comments. Again, huge thank you and shout out to My Machinist for coming through with this product. His products are awesome. Again, go check them out. The link for that product and some of the other products I have on my bikes of My Machinist will be in the description. I know Get Lowered is carrying some of his stuff right now as well. I just don't remember exactly what, but you can definitely go to the website, his specific website that I'm going to link below. And then also, obviously, you can hit him up on Instagram if you have any questions as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the Riding Dad channel. Make sure you check out My Machinist. Let him know that I sent you if you do anything, or just even let him know that you think he's got a cool product. I'm sure he would love to hear that. Let him know that you saw it on the video. Make sure you stay tuned for the next videos that we got coming up. We got a bunch of stuff that we're still continuing to dump money into with these bikes behind you. And for those of you who are unaware of what's going on with these, you can check out the description below. Has links to the playlist for both this Lowrider S and behind it, the relatively new Sportster to me. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun, Dad